parents should. They definitely should track their team's location. There's no doubt about that. But 24/7, putting that on it, putting the 24/7 on it, I think that just takes away the freedom the kid, some freedom the kid should have.
Welcome to a special edition of the Petty or Valid podcast. Today, I do not have my co-host Jan with me. Why? Because I have a special guest with me. We're doing a special edition. I have a young man to the left of me. I'm going to pass it over to him. Y'all know I go by the name of Twan, but we need to know who's the special guest. Who are you, young sir?
Man, what's up, man? My name is TJ. I am the son of y'all host, and we here today. I'm happy to be here, man. Let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. So listen, man, we gave them an opportunity to create their own topic and bring it to the Petty or Valid podcast. We're excited about this. It's parents versus, child type of segments going on. Jan has one that she's cooking up right now. I don't want to give it away, but they're going to have a really good time on theirs as well with our daughter. So let's get straight to it, all right? So the question that TJ posed was this. Is it petty or valid to track your teen's location 24/7? Boy. Okay, TJ, we want to hear your thoughts. Is it petty or is it valid?
It's so petty. Like, I feel like because I am a human too, I should have some type of freedom. Of course, there should be a boundary with it, parents should. They definitely should track their team's location. There's no doubt about that. But 24/7, putting that on it, putting the 24/7 on it, I think that just takes away the freedom the kid, some freedom the kid should have. And yeah, that's really it.
Okay, so when you say some freedom the kid should have, so where would you be going, at your age that you would not want your parents to know you're going?
Um, I honestly, I don't think we will be going nowhere, and I think that's where the trust comes in with it. I think you should trust your kid enough, and know that if you were younger, growing up, making mistakes and things like that, that just because you made the mistakes does not mean that your kid is going to make the mistakes. You see what I'm saying? So, I think trust comes in with it a little bit. Of course, you can track it every now and then just to make sure your kid is safe. But, checking it every 5, 20 minutes, 1 hour, I just we
Okay, I can
yeah.
feel that. But then here's the question. Let's say that there's a parent that did extend that type of trust, right? And they're respecting their teens' boundaries, etc., because they are little humans as well, right? Let's say that they did extend that trust and their teen, quote unquote, compromise that trust. Is it still petty or is it valid, right? That parent is now super hyper, locked in and focused on tracking their kid.
Well, I think I think that it'll be valid if it's something that will get you in serious trouble. But if it's something minor and they do that, then I think that's pretty petty. I think it just depends on how bad the situation or whatever it was actually was. So if it was terrible, then I feel like it'll be valid. But if it was just something minor, little, um, I don't really have an example of something that would be little. But if it was something little that happened, then I think it will still be petty.
Okay, but I think little is subjective though, right? Because based on whoever's perspective you looking at the situation, from it might be little or it might be big to them. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
So let's say that something small does happen and it doesn't trigger the parent to start looking 24/7 and they kind of brush over it, throw white flag on the play, nothing serious, just brush over it, just talk about it. If let's say, do you think that if a parent gave y'all an inch that you take a yard, And I guess what I'm trying to say is if you would do something on a small scale, right? How can they trust you on a big scale?
Um, I think that us kids, especially in this generation, with our parents, I think that we should have second chances. So I think one mistake doesn't, define who we are. So if it was a small mistake, I feel like give us another chance, to improve or maybe change. But checking the location right after one mistake, period, I just think that's not checking the location, checking it 24/7 after only one mistake that a team made. I think that's a little aggressive. That could come off a little aggressive.
Okay.
I think if you just because also us as teenagers, we want to live our teenage life sometimes. Like checking it 24/7 for the first time for no reason. I guess you could say there is a reason, but for no reason because the teenager did not do anything, but just checking it 24/7, I just think that's kind of like that's very petty. Like
Okay, so you saying if they like at least allow you to give them a reason to be checking up on them like
right.
that.
Don't just do it for no reason cuz then that just
It-
how we can't,
So you would like for trust to be extended until it's broken.
right. I think yes, yes. Yes.
Okay. So do you think you speaking on behalf of all teens across the world?
Absolutely. I seen this thing on TikTok the other day that said strict parents make sneaky children.
Bars.
So I think that right there, just give the kid some room. I think at least with me, I don't think that if you give an inch, I will take a mile in this type of circumstance with the location thing because as a kid, I also can proudly say that I was raised right.
Mhm.
So I know what what is bad and what is good. I know good from bad, and I know when I'm putting my life in jeopardy and when I'm not.
Mhm.
So me as a kid myself, I wouldn't take that
You wouldn't take
mile if I
so
got an
you wouldn't
inch.
take unnecessary risk.
Right, because I understand the what am I trying to say? I understand
The repercussions.
yes, right. And the everything that could come with it. So I don't want to put my life in jeopardy. I don't want to end up in somebody's jail/prison. I don't want to, so I think me personally, I wouldn't.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back real quick, right? Because there was a time when parents did not have tabs or did not have access on where we were, and what we were doing. When I was coming up, we didn't know. They didn't know where we were, right? Most of the time they had no clue. And we remember and we recall we were down some back roads, some back streets, and some backyards, and some back rooms that we probably should have never been in, with people we probably should have never been with at the same time. So I think a lot of parents, and I haven't even answered whether I think it's petty or valid
Mhm.
yet. But I think a lot of parents, um, they have they remember what they did. They remember who they were. They remember how immature they were. So I think that they are appreciative of being able to pick up a device and locate their kid in such a dangerous and uncertain time in the world. So it's not that they may not trust you. Maybe sometimes it's that they don't trust the world,
Mhm.
right? Maybe sometimes they just want to know that you were in traffic. Sometimes they just want to know that there wasn't a human trafficking situation that took place. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like they just want to know that you weren't kidnapped. You're not in danger, right?
Yeah.
Or if you made it to your destination.
Right.
Let's say you on your way to somewhere, it's a blessing for them to be able to pick up the device and see where they are and had they made it,
Mhm.
right? So I don't think that it's from a place of if you say you going to A and they look and you're at C or D, then I feel like it's a blessing for them to be able to have that access to just check on you and see where you are. Cause okay, let's paint a scenario real quick. Let's say, God forbid, and God bless every kid out there that every family that's dealing with a missing child or something of that nature. But let's just say, a kid ends up missing or something unusual happened, an unfortunate happened. I think it's a blessing. Do we agree that it's a blessing for them to be able to look at that phone and say, this was where they were at 2:02. This was where they were at 20,
Yeah.
at 2:07,
Mhm.
etc. Just to mark their tracks. Do we agree that is that's a blessing to have?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's just a 24/7 thing.
It's just the 24/7 thing. Like, um, I also think it depends where you are too, because you bring up the missing child again from me too. God forbid, any of that with anybody. Um, but I also think that comes in with where the child is, because, for example, if I go to church, you don't gotta check my location 24/7. I'm at church. I'm not finna get stolen. I'm at church. I'm worshiping God. So, um, if it's you checking my location, checking in with me every, I don't know, 2-3 hour, I don't know, something. I'm just, saying something, then that's okay. But every chance you get to check my location, you check it, like checking it. Not you, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
And
for
just, yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you get to check my location, you're checking it. It's just like, well, dang.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can I check yours 24/7?
Yeah. I check your location maybe 3 times a week. Like, it's not a chore for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because we have built such of a trust factor. I know you are where you say you're gonna be when you say you're gonna be. For whatever reason you say you're gonna be, I haven't found you to not be there. I've never, I never experienced another scenario. So yeah, I'm real cool and easy on it. So let's get to my response. Whether I think it's petty or valid for a parent to check their kid's location 24/7, I think it's valid.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the reason I think it's valid is because it's that parent's responsibility to know where their kid is at all times. It's that parent's responsibility to be aware of who they're with, to be aware of, what they're doing. It's their responsibility to know, where they've been, where they're headed. They're there to guide them. So if I look at it like this, when I think about God, He knows where I'm at all times. He's tracking me. He knows my steps. He's ordering my steps. He knows where I've been. He knows where I'm at, and he also is aware of where I'm headed. You know what I mean? So, it can get aggressive, can get excessive, especially if a parent is calling 24/7, like, "Oh, where you at?" or check it. So there is a thin line, because it can be like, whoa, like either you don't trust God, or either you don't trust your child, or either you're dealing with some anxiety from something you've gone through. So it can get to a point where it's like, wait a minute. But for the most part, I think it's valid. I think parents should be aware of where their kids are and what their kids doing and who their kids are with.
Yeah, I back to that trauma thing you just said. I think that's one of the main things that gets parents to check their kids' location most of the time, because just because they had experience, I think I said this earlier, but just because they've did things in their past and been here, done that, whatever it is, that I guess you could say they're trying to protect their kids from that. But at the same time, it's just like, I'm not you. I understand that I came from you, but I'm not you. And just because you were raised a certain way does not mean I was raised the same way. And what I mean by that is because you had the freedom, maybe, to go do all that extra, been there, done that things, that doesn't mean of course, that don't mean you give me the freedom to do it or not. But if you did give me the freedom to do it, that does not mean I'm going to make the same exact, not same exact, but that doesn't mean I'm going to make the decisions you made. And I think that's where the generational part comes in, where as the generations go, I think parents should. I'm not gonna lie, no, this generation is very sad. I'm not gonna lie. This generation is very, very sad. But as the generations go, I think the parents are supposed to um I don't want to say trust their kid more. I can't really find the
That's good.
yeah, I can't really find exactly what I'm trying to say, but it's something around there. So yeah.
No, I think that's good. I think it's official. You know what I mean? I think it's valid what you're saying. I just think it depends on the lens, right? I think this is the lens of a parent, and you got the lens of a child.
Yeah, I think, and I do think if you was me, then you would be on my side.
Well, I've been you before. But I think I've been you later in life. I think you get into a point and you get into an age where you're starting to feel like a young man. So that perspective makes a whole lot of sense. As you're maturing, nobody wants to be tracked and checked up on 24/7, right? That's aggravating for real. Don't be pinning my location all day.
hmm
So as we wrapping this up, I'm gonna try to twist it up a little bit. So how is that different? You ready? What I'm about to
Okay,
drop on you?
I'm ready.
Okay. How is that different from how you and all your peers have each other's shared location on 24/7 and y'all know where each other's at all times? Or y'all can pop up and look up where this person is, where this person is, where this person is, because it's a whole little group thing now.
Right.
So is it okay for your girlfriend or your homeboy, your best friend or whatever to be checking up on you 24/7?
Absolutely. Because they don't have the same um how should I put this? They don't they're not
Authority?
my parent. Yeah, they don't have authority on me. So they check my location, they see where that I'm somewhere, they be like, "Oh, okay. Like why you there?" type of thing. But if parents or, family, whatever it is, if they see her somewhere, they'll get to yelling at you and everything. See, my like best friend, girlfriend, all that type of stuff, not they because I'm not, but um the people I share location with, they're not doing that. Like, and even if they do, because I do know some people that check my location 24/7 and be like, so why is your location off? So da 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 this and that stuff like that, right? So they do check it, but at the same time, it's like I understand that they're my age, so they can't really.
Man, red flag on the play. This is just, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, do y'all hear the hypocrisy here? Like, this is crazy. I'm trying to figure out for the ones that are invested into them, right? The ones that care for them, the ones that love them, the ones that provide for them, the ones that are called to protect them. How is it that our access to where they are, who they're with, should be limited, but for people that don't care for them, don't provide for them, is is not their responsibility to protect them, how can they have access to their location 24/7, which is also having access to 80% of their parents' location, if you want to take it that far? I'm just saying, right? So we go on a family vacation, and the whole school know where we at. All they got to do is pull you up on the location, right? So from a safety perspective, from a privacy perspective, I don't want to be tracked 24/7 either. Especially by a whole bunch of little humans and little strangers that I don't know. You got a rebuttal to that, sir?
I mean, if like me, for example, I don't even I don't really check people location for real. Like I have so many people location, but I think it's just the thought of having the location is what it is. Like oh, I don't sit up here and look. Okay, where's she at? Where he at? Where I don't
Yeah.
do that. I think it's just having their location just means something. Like
Okay. I feel you. It feels like you got access and that you're privileged and that you're close to them.
yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes
That they trust you.
sometimes I would check people's location before I call them because if they're out, then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna FaceTime you. But if you are home, then I'll be like, okay, I'm about to FaceTime you. So it is a little different for teenagers to have location, rather than parents or authority.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that concludes our episode. You have our opinions. TJ thinks that it's petty. I think that it's valid. We want to hear from y'all. Drop in the comments right now whether you think it's a P or whether you think it's a V. We're excited to hear from you guys. There's no right or wrong answer in this. It's just good, healthy dialogue and conversation that we think will be helpful and useful for people all around the world. We just having conversations that we know people want to have, right? And now we're extending it by doing it with our kids. We hope that y'all found this episode to be fun, informative, and more importantly, we're hoping that this episode open up an opportunity for y'all to have conversations that you may need to have. All right, so we'll catch y'all on the next episode of the Petty or Valid podcast. And like we always say, don't be petty all your life.
Stay valid.